Today I fucked up by literally throwing away $10,000. Mandatory. This didn't happen today but last week. To offer some background information, I am generally horrible with finances. My New Year's resolution was to save enough money up during the year to take my family on a Christmas vacation in 2019. To try and get a savings going, I made a Bitcoin wallet at the start of the year and turned it into my piggy bank. I managed to save up around $10,000 after clearing most of my debts. The piggy bank idea was working. The mistake comes here. My Bitcoin wallet was on my iPhone, which I decided to upgrade last week. So I wiped my phone and traded it in. I thought I could restore the wallet since my phone was backed up. I get my new phone, restore the backup, app is there but no Bitcoins. To recover my wallet I need a recovery phrase that was given at the start of making the wallet, and now I have no clue what it is. To 1 week of frustration and a few tears, guess who got 2 new credit cards and is back in the debt trap? Too long didn't read, made a Bitcoin wallet to use as a piggy bank, wiped my phone along with the wallet which had around $10,000 in it. Update, so I got more Carmen on a throwaway post than my actual account of 7 years, very unexpected. Thanks for the kind words and advice and also the offers to help, but I'm taking full responsibility for my fuck up. I can recover, I have a decent salary. My debt trap is always paying minimum payments on instead of more, even when feasible. I'll consider different Bitcoin wallets in the future. Feel free to donate to my new wallet, 3NTBRCD1XK 17 Kate Tier 35 F22D3 ZIS1Q. I know the feel. I mined a few even before the first pizza was bought for 10000 BTC. Yes, I mined. Back then solar mining was still a thing. Even after that pizza, the estimated value of my Bitcoin fortune didn't even come close to a cent in dollars, so I didn't think much of it when I wiped the disk for a fresh Windows install. Needless to say, I tried every day to recover a trick in the book when it reached $1 per coin, then a couple hundred and then thousands of dollars per single coin. I must have had at least 50 BTC if not way more. Mining gave you 25 or 50 coins per block. Don't recall exactly. Then again, I would probably have sold them for a couple $100 when I could. I would never have the theoretical millions, so I would be just as chagrined now. If dealing with cryptocurrency, always transfer the currency to a service that you can manage from a computer. Then you can manually download the data to an external hard drive, or 2, or 3, and always have access to them. Also, there are specific alphanumeric strings you can use to recover the currency, but you have to remember / write them down. Wow, so sorry. On the bright side, give it a couple of weeks and your total loss will only be in the couple of hundreds. This cheered me up, haha. F. Holy hell, this is the worst today I fucked up I have read yet. There's always money in the banana stand. Today I fucked up by peeing in a litter box. It gets so much worse. This happened a few months ago and it has taken this long for me to type it up because it is probably the most brutally embarrassing thing that I have ever done. I'm not using a throwaway because that sounds like a lot of work. Setting the stage, I'm 24, the rest of the people in this story are around my age, maybe 20 to 25, it doesn't really matter. We were at my friend Jay's house drinking. Jay lives in a co-op house with 20 plus people living there and probably as many bedrooms. So my friends and I like to drink. It isn't the greatest hobby and I'm sure there are better things we could be doing with our time, but for now, we're happy. On this night, for whatever reason, we decided to really drink. I think the phrase that I used was "let's get drunk like it's high school." Jay and a few friends had just returned from a couple weeks long festival and we were all excited to see them, and apparently the best way to express that excitement was by partying with handles, 1.75 liters, of very cheap whiskey. Now, as anyone who binge drinks knows, there is a certain point you reach where it feels like the alcohol is no longer affecting you, that you can just keep drinking and drinking. We all hit that point at some point during the night, but kept on trudging along. I could probably write a whole book of today I fucked ups off of the things we did that night. Puking inside a mascot helmet, peeing on a friend's shoes, fighting a tree, etc. But this today I fucked up actually doesn't even take place until long after we called it a night and went to bed. Let me back up a little bit. So as the morning wound down and we all headed to wherever we were sleeping for the night, I ended up naked in Jay's bed with her. Fun was had, well, as much fun as two incredibly sloppy drunk people can have, and we passed out for what I assumed was going to be a very heavy sleep. So imagine my surprise when a few hours later I was suddenly wide awake. Now, this wasn't your normal waking up. As I woke up I realized a few things. I was standing in the middle of Jay's room. I was still naked, I was still very drunk, and I had to pee, badly. Not like, okay let me put some pants on and run to the bathroom badly. I mean like I had maybe 2 seconds until 1 liter of whiskey, and probably no water, came flooding out of my disappointingly limp noodle in whatever direction it happened to be pointing at. Guys, I'm not proud of this, but I panicked. I didn't see a cup or a jar anywhere, but what I did see was Jay's cat's litter box. I didn't have time to weigh my options, I didn't have time to think about the ramifications, I just ran over and started unloading into that poor receptacle. There was so much pee, it just kept coming. The entire time I keep stealing glances over to the bed to make sure that Jay was still fast asleep, that she wouldn't witness my shame. At this point I have filled the litter box. The litter has stopped soaking up my urine and is now just floating in it. I have reached peak shame. This literally couldn't get any more embarrassing. Thank God she was still asleep. I finally finished up, shook myself dry, and started crawling around the floor looking for some clothes so I can dispose of my shame. The whole time I'm paying very close attention to Jay. I do not want her to wake up. As I am crawling right next to the bed, not recognizing any of the stuff I'm finding, Jay's eyes open wide and a few things become instantly clear. Jay does not have a cat. I am not in Jay's room. This is not Jay. In fact, this is a long-haired, very confused and very quickly getting angry man. My brain just short-circuited at this point. Started trying to mumble an apology about how I thought this was someone else's room and I didn't live there and I was lost. He wasn't having it. Granted, he was barely awake himself. He just tells me to get the fuck out of his room. And then I stand up and he realized I'm naked. The last thing he said to me was, "And you're fucking naked? What the fuck?" Before I apologized again and ran out of that room. I left the room, realizing it's light out. People will be waking up any minute now, and I am still butt-ass naked. Oh yeah, I was also on the 3rd floor of a house with 20 identical unlabeled rooms. I had fallen asleep in a room on the 1st floor. I ran around that house for 20 minutes trying to find some rhyme or reason. I was still very drunk. I finally found a dish towel to wrap around myself, which gave me a bit more confidence, and I started logically going about this. Finally found the room I fell asleep in, because I left the door wide open, with Jay still fast asleep, none the wiser. I climbed back into bed, and to this day, she has no idea about my early morning adventure. I drunk ass had slept, walked up 2 flights of stairs and entered some random room thinking it was the bathroom before I, thankfully, woke up. I was so embarrassed in the morning that I left with a shirt over my head in case the guy saw me and just ran to my car. Never got brought up, and as far as I know, the guy doesn't even remember it. Too long didn't read, got super drunk and passed out naked in a girl's room. Woke up in her room still naked and had to pee really bad, so I peed in her cat's litter box. Quickly after that I realized that I wasn't in her room but had drunkenly slept, walked into some random guy's room and then filled his cat's litter box with pee. Dude, that guy definitely remembers a drunk naked guy flooding his cat box. He doesn't remember. I was dating this girl for a few years. She lived at home with only her dad and a couple of animals. She was awesome and her dad was great. One morning, after I had stayed the night, I was getting ready for work. I went downstairs to put my clothes in the dryer to freshen them up, only to discover the largest pile of cat poop in the cat box I'd ever seen in my life. Asked my girlfriend to come down to inspect. I was extremely concerned about her cat, as whatever that was not supposed to come out of a feline, let alone own an elderly cat. After further evaluation, she too was concerned about the health of her cat. We both went about our day. That night when I got off work, I came back over to see her and check on her cat. Come to find out, it was her dad's poop. This grown man couldn't wait for his daughter to get out of the bathroom and decided that was his best option. For a few weeks he was referred to only as litter shitter. He should have scooped. I had to resort to the Litterbox one time, but at least I scooped. This shit made me laugh hysterically. I had a moment like this where I filled a vacuum. Wait a minute, this isn't a vacuum. WTF did I just do? My sister is 38 and rents a room in a basement. She uses a litter pan so she doesn't have to walk up the stairs on the middle of the night. No alcohol involved. She's single. She's single. You don't say. This reminds me of a party I went to. I woke up in the middle of the night to see this guy taking a piss on the ottoman in the living room. He was even sitting to pee and I don't think he noticed. We woke up in the morning to awful piss smell and soaking wet furniture and no one owned up to it. Oh shit, that's bad. Yeah, apparently it's a thing that some people do when drunk. I wish this was my first time. Today I fucked up by attempting to help my brother change a flat tire and getting swarmed by the police and a helicopter. This actually happened today, at around 1 AM. So my brother transports vehicles across the country for a living on the back of a trailer, and was transporting a few cars to my town this morning. He ended up having 2 blowouts at the same time on his trailer at around midnight, and called me to see if I could help. He needed a jack, and I happened to have a really good jack that I left at my mom's house when I still lived there. I decided to stop by her house on my way and pick up the jack to help him out. So I arrive at my mom's house, and she's out of the country, so I assumed the house was entirely empty. I used my old garage door opener to get inside the garage and pick up my jack, and realized that since it had never been used before, it still had some zip ties on the packaging. No worries, I thought, I'll just go inside and get some scissors from her kitchen to open it up. Unknown to me, my youngest stepsister was house sitting for her while she was gone, and had set the house alarms since she was there alone. So I opened the door from the garage into the house, and set off these loud ass alarms to the house. I didn't know the code to disable it, so I just went ahead and grabbed the scissors from inside and walked back out to the driveway to wait for the inevitable police to arrive. Not but 5 minutes later, I hear a helicopter flying overhead, and I'm surrounded in a white floodlight. Seconds later, no less than 8 police cruisers come flying up to the house, guns drawn, and I'm stormed by a shit ton of police officers asking where is the girl. Obviously I'm confused as fuck because I didn't know anything about a girl. I assumed the house was empty. So I'm held outside of my old house while police raid my mom's house, guns drawn, in search of the burglar. Meanwhile, all of the neighbors come outside to see what the commotion is, only to be met with a police helicopter shining a spotlight on me while I'm surrounded by dozens of police. As it turns out, my stepsister had heard me rummaging through drawers in the kitchen after the alarm was set off, and called 911 while hiding in a closet, saying that she heard a man going through things and was burglarizing the house, and she was alone and scared. It all ended up just fine after they were able to identify me, and she confirmed that I was her brother. They let me go, and said no harm done. They just wanted to make sure that everyone was safe and understood my weird predicament. At the end of all of this excitement, I still had to leave to go help my brother who has been blowing up my phone asking where I'm at, as he was still stuck on the side of the interstate with 2 blowouts. Doctor, my brother had 2 blowouts near my mom's old house at 1 AM while she was out of the country. Went by her house to pick up my old jack, setting off the house alarm while my youngest stepsister was by herself. She calls 911, I get swarmed by a police helicopter and a shit ton of gun-wielding police officers. Edit, some people have been questioning the validity of the story, so for anyone curious, this is a picture of the blowouts. And this is a picture of the new tire and rim we just put on, and my new high-lift jack that we used yesterday. We took the handle off to use for leverage to turn the lug wrench. Your brother does this for a living and doesn't have a jack? WTF. Here's the real story. A helicopter? They gotta be bored as hell over there. Nah, this is Houston. Nice police response time. Here you'll die at the hands of the burglar or of old age before they arrive. Yeah, no kidding, it was no joke. About 5 minutes and I was surrounded. At least that reassured me that I won't ever have to worry about them taking forever to arrive if I legitimately needed them in this situation. Your stepsister was alone in the house and she called 911 on you, then hid until the police arrived? I can't believe porn has been lying to me. And I'm sitting here looking to upvote the "what are you doing step bruh" comments.